All right, we are into round 2 of the ranked Royale EU qualifier. Rxii able to win in round 1. We've got Atow versus Rxii coming up in the quarterfinals. Chat, here we go. Round 2 of the EU qualifier for ranked Royale. We saw Rxii getting the upset over Toxic in the first round in a long best of 5. So Rxie's run continues with yet another impossible to beat EU opponent, it would seem, in Atow, who has looked so good in show matches and ranked recently. But Rxii was able to do the impossible in the previous round, so who's to say he couldn't continue the dream run here today against Atow. In fact, he's going to score first. One of the benefits of playing from deeper in the bracket is that you do get to feel warm, maybe get a bit of confidence, because by default, you're coming off of a win if you're still in the tournament. Atow maybe not quite as prepared, but that's really the only benefit you could argue. I do think it's probably just better off to wait deep in the bracket like we have Joria's and I believe Nas doing over on the top seeds of both sides of the gauntlets. My goodness, Atow getting the double pogo on the bounce as well. Wave dashing onto the wall to set up this long distance dribble. The reset on the goal line is exactly what Atow is capable of. When will the main event be? It'll be starting tomorrow. Same exact start times as we did today for the qualifier. The main event will include Zen, Moxie, Luis P, and one of the players who makes it through this qualifier. Does anyone know why Atow is Belgian? I think he's Belgian because he's Belgian. That one confused me a little bit. Does he not live there or something? That would make the most sense. There might be a part of it that I don't understand. Atow trying to ground pinch out of his own half. Rxii camped out in the midfield, takes control, and then is able to protect this ball the whole way. Little resets. Positioned right the way where Atow's trying to make the clear. Atow, long clear, wanted that boost to spawn as he drove through it. Knew it was spawning soon, but didn't spawn at the exact right moment. Rxii able to flick over the top of Atow, and it should be a race to the ball that Rxii will win. 3-3. Rxii able to qualify for the events because of a couple different declining players from the Middle East. Didn't think he was going to be able to make it in, and now showing that he is right there with the best of them. Rxii trying to set up a wave dash pop. Might have just gotten Atow to drop the ball as he jumped to wave dash behind it. A lot of times, just using your jump on the defensive side of the ball can be enough to change the plan of attack for the person possessing it. Right to the back wall. That was a bit of a dangerous bounce. If Atow was any closer, it's going to be a freebie given up. Atow now resetting on 100 at the midfield. Rxii doesn't have a lot to work with. Evades the bump attempt. He gets the wall to air dribble setup, but he doesn't connect on it. It does bait Atow in. The fact that he didn't set it up as cleanly as he should have. He wasn't able to finish it off for a goal, so it will be Atow with a full speed dribble. Takes to the ground, trying to slice it around Rxii, and he does find his way with some assistance from the post to side flip this one in. Just trying to get Rye past the ball with that fake hook shot. He did exactly that. Rye looking bottom left. What a save from Atow. Pre-flips into the corner. Wants a wall to air dribble. He's not going to be giving it, at least not to midfield. So he has to back off into the corner. Resets on 100 and uses it all instantly to rush into the orange half. That bump might just be enough for a goal. No, he couldn't get enough on it. Rye has time to power slide around it, not just get the save, but also immediately end the possession. Atow has been so lethal, though, with space. Not the kind of player you want to let be able to do this. And if you haven't watched Atow before, one unique thing about him is that he does these dribbles with ball cam on. Now, I think Rye is far enough off to the side that even with ball cam on, or the ball cam off, I think he still can see Rye and know when to pop the ball in order to get around him. But by playing with ball cam on at all times, it does lead to a lot of beneficial moments where he can see around the ball when he maybe otherwise wouldn't have been able to. Double jump pop, and he's trying to create a bit of separation here late in the game. 6-4 for Atow. Rye, ceiling reset, catch, smooth into the 50. Looked like he was maybe trying to bring it back to that near post. But Atow just played so passively and let Rye get all the way to the net with a favorable position. Atow not fully turning back into the ball yet when he went to challenge, which just helps guide it in. Atow, what a shot. The reset is grabbed quickly and used to push over the top of this challenge off the wall from Rye. Rye, direct kickoff in a game that it felt like he was going to be out of it. In just a couple more moments, he desperately needed a direct kickoff goal there. Now he's got 30 seconds to grab one more. Loses his kickoff into the corner, but a possession will be given to him. Just has to try and get past a full boost Atow as well. Actually a pretty favorable pinch. He needs to find a way to get a quick shot. Couldn't do so. Now Atow in full control. Rye can only do so much in the final moments, but Atow actually had one of his best shots of the game so far to finish it off. Threatening that flick and then back down to the ground with a wave dash to cut it around him. 6 seconds. Rye doesn't come to the kickoff, and that'll end the game. Oh, as long as Atow starts the clock waits a little bit to get going. If nobody touches the ball, all Atow needed to do is touch it at all and push it almost anywhere, and he would have been fine. But game number 1 going to Atow. It is a best of 5. Yes. Game number 2. Atow up early on Rye. Rye was able to get out to a solid lead against Toxic and then ice it out in the end. Will he be able to come back from Atow looking good at the start? Atow missing on his setup, just a bit high. So it'll be Rye who scores first. Right kickoff goal for Rye, make it 2. Atow delay on the kickoff with the wave dash as well. Hitting the brakes far away in order to set this up. Kills the ball completely with the underside of his car and then dashes to clean up the goal. Atow trying to counter it. Absolute max speed. What is this shot from Atow? So high risk in ones to use up all your boost on a fast counterattack like this and to finish it off with a double. Oh my goodness, Atow. He felt confident the whole way. He was never worried about missing. And it was up to Rxii to try and predict the angle the double was going to come off on. My goodness. Atow feeling good. Pinch for the ceiling! Just a bit high. That would have been a crazy sequence for Atow, back to back. Rxii, low reset. Not going to be able to get through Atow. He was a bit slower on his counterattack this time. He goes for that pogo that I was telling you earlier we were definitely bound to see. He certainly uses the landing pogo a lot. And also uses the own goal double just as much. It should not be forgotten that the own goal double is one of the filthiest shots you can hit in the game. Atow half flip kickoff. Didn't go the way he wanted it to, that's for sure. Thought maybe that Rxii was going to try and slow this ball down, play for a 50 after not reading the kickoff, but instead Rxii was looking to move it with a shot and sent it right past him. Rxii, one bump. Needs a second if he wants to convert the goal. Definitely went for it. Couldn't find it. Little zap dash from Atow as he tries to get back to this ball. Still not going to be enough. Set up an immediate goal. Passes to himself in field. Trying to slot top right. Atow making magic happen to even bring that one back on target. Rxii's going to have an easy read. These two are just booming the ball back and forth. Rxii may finally slow it down now as Atow looks to meet him in the corner. How did he collect this ball so quickly? Rxii's there, though. Rxii forced up to the ball by Atow. Just trying to starve him out right now. But Rxii's just going to score. He was waiting. He knew if he could force a bit of boost out, get even neutral 50s, that Rxii would eventually be starved out, but he saved more than enough. Uses it to get a 5th goal. Trying to stop this half flip kickoff with a direct chip shot, and that's not going to work. Atow able to kill the ball with the underside of his car immediately on the save. Lands, turns, and takes his long shot. Rxii into the back corner. Up in the air. Really just as a way to keep Atow off the ball. Atow swinging wide to grab boost. Leaves the net open for the most part. Rxii tries to take advantage of that with a goal line 50 and then has to reverse to go for the second one. Atow able to keep it out. Now a flick is just past Rxii. As Atow is looking to creep his way back. Wave dash kickoff for Rxii. He really likes these ceiling resets. One thing I've noticed watching him. We're going to get maybe a lot of chances to watch Rxii if he could pull this one off. Atow 360 just drops the ball, and sometimes that's all you need to do. Threatens the world as he spins around underneath the ball. And Rxii ends up reacting late. Or really just jumping at all. I mean, if he had the perfect read on Atow, I think he just stays grounded because he knows the ball's going to just roll at him soft. But worried about a potential pop, potential flick at the end of that play. Jumps and makes his save poor. Rxii should have a goal here, though. Atow got a bit greedy. Wave dash kickoff for Rxii. Not able to connect on the dash, but gets bumped into the back corner, which he accepts and uses to get to max speed. Atow, he has done this a few different times in a few different ways. We saw him do it off the kickoff with the wheel touch save down to counterattack. This time, the soft touch, and he always has the recovery in mind. He knows that there is a slight window of opportunity after every one of those plays to strike a long shot if you're quick enough, and Atow certainly is. Doesn't go to this kickoff. Rxii sends one off the backboard. Crucial next goal as we fall under the minute mark in a tie game. Atow looking to launch up and send Rxii, saving his flip just to bump him away, but didn't really work to much success. Rxii still on the ball. Backing off now. Atow, another 360 late backflip. Atow fortunate to not be out of position after what was a bit of an awkward recovery off of a low flip. Rxii, you know he's going to the ceiling. He loves it. This is a great setup for him as well. Over the top of Atow. Rxii gets credit from his opponent for a nice shot, and a nice shot it was indeed. Such a good setup. All of it comes down to the beautiful first touch off the wall that makes it possible. These pros have no issue figuring it out as long as the ball's in the right position, and Rxii certainly had it there. Ceiling resets to finish off the play, but Atow, a chance to clutch here, looking for a ground pinch. Ends up just rolling the ball at Rxii, who is going to get a second goal. I thought it was maybe we could wait 5 seconds, right? I guess I can count down the 5 seconds for him. Game number 2, going to Rxii. Game number 3, Atow and Rxii. Rxii has looked really good so far in this qualifier, and I think naturally coming in as a slight underdog and the way he's performed, I think Rxii picking up a bit of a fan base in the chat. Would like to see him succeed, and why wouldn't you? Quite the story for him so far. Tied now with Atow. These two playing for a chance against Jorias. Not the best reward for winning a game, but if they were able to beat Jorias, it'd be one final game to beat whoever comes out of the other gauntlet. That person moves on. Long shot from Atow to start game number 3. Wave dash kickoff does not connect. I think that was a late jump from Atow. Players are normally trying to... I want to see if Rxii delayed at all. Oh, slight delay maybe from Rxii. Players are trying to jump such that the kickoff forces them back down into the ground. If you don't have everybody on the other side of the ball to force you into that, you can send yourself flying away, which is why delays work so well against wave dash kickoffs. Yes, the majority of the qualifier was to just try and push for top 3 in ranked. But in order to not leave only the top 3 ranked players or the top 4 ranked players relevant, I wanted to get a little bit more of the scope of the ranked ladder involved, which is how this qualifier came to be. A chance for anybody to be that last 4th player, as long as they're in the top about 25 to 30-ish is around where you needed to be if you wanted to qualify for this event. And Rxii actually might have even been down in the 50 or so range after a couple people declined their invitation. Zen is going to play in this Royale. Yes, Zen made it immediately in with an invite. And the way the main event worked, or is going to work, I should say, is like ranked. Everybody will play everybody. And whoever comes out with the most wins wins the tournament. Atow able to get a second goal here after Rxii went on a spurt. Yan is back in Brazil, which is why he is not playing in this tournament. What are the tiebreakers? I believe I haven't officialized them, but it's going to be game differential as opposed to head-to-head, with the idea being that's how ranked would work, right? Whoever wins the most games from a group of people who are similarly rated is going to have the highest rating and therefore win the tournament. So game differential first, and we'll go into head-to-head stuff to continue to break ties if needed. Goal scoring is not going to be a tiebreaker. It'll be games like in best of fives. I don't think goals will ever be tiebreakers just because it prioritizes certain styles of 1v1. Some players like to defend, play a little bit more passive, and I don't think it makes sense to punish those players by saying, you know, the amount of goals you scored or your goal differential, when maybe you control the entire game, it's complete and utter domination, but you win 3-1. You know, that should be considered just as good of a win as winning 11-10 or 13 or 14-10. Right now, Rxii up 2. Trying to continue the Cinderella run. It would certainly be in the spirit of March to do so, but Atow has no interest in that happening. A carry all the way from his back wall. CRR is not playing in the North American qualifier. He decided to play Johnny Boy's 2v2 mix-up with the Spanish-speaking players as opposed to playing the ranked Royale. Rocket League March Madness when? I've thought about it multiple times, but it'd be so hard to set up. Rxii, nice fake. To retake a 2-goal lead. To get 64 teams or 64 players, which is what you'd have to do, and then you do best of 1, I guess, because that's what March Madness is. It would be insane. And Just Win probably got the closest thing. I think Just Win was probably 32, or at least 16. But I think it might have even been 32. So I think Just Win is a tournament that kind of already got the spirit of March Madness. And we almost saw a Cinderella winner at the time. Oski was not a very well-known one's name when he was close to taking down Jorias and Just Win. But instead, we saw a 1-seed win. And how many times does that happen in March Madness as well? So really true to form. Can you be a 16 seed? Yeah, we'll fill the 16 seeds out with just random qualifiers from stream. And imagine if they're able to take down a 1 seed. Right now, Rxii, if you're looking at just the seeding for this qualifier, comes in as 8 of 8 players trying to take down a number 4 seed in Atow. Number 1 being Joyous, 2 Nas, 3 Nuggets. Atow, though, is going to have none of that. Able to tie the game, winning a couple crucial kickoffs in order to ice this one out. Purdue lost, that's true. It is possible to lose. I do think that the best chance to win this qualifier, well, first off, Rxii is about to try and style to win this game. Atow has a really good chance. He can keep this up. Air dribble. Oh, Rxii going in and out of the net. Oh my goodness, Rxii, what a save. Even Atow has to throw it as well. I thought it was a mistake to go in and out of the net. Thought no way he'd be back in time, but he made it there. Atow too strong of a touch. This should have been a kickoff goal and a win. if he had hit it any softer. But Rxii does it again. Twice in a row, in and out of the nets. Finding a way to keep it out. Atow going to launch a hook shot. I want to watch from Rxii's perspective. The defensive magic he's been able to do makes me want to see how it's happening first person. Atow, this flick over the top. Rxii recognizes quickly and flips out of his jump into the corner boost. Atow is relentless right now. That bump might just do it. It does. The defense from Rxii was impressive for the past minute and a half or so. But Atow ultimately does get his goal and does get his win. Game number 3 for Atow. 2-1 in favor of him. So we head to game 4. Game number 4. Atow and Rxii. It's been a close matchup so far. And I would not be surprised if we saw yet another game 5. The way Rxii has been playing. Rxii is going to try and make me look right to start this game. Atow looking to stay grounded and win some challenges, but doesn't work out that way. Rxii has the read and is able to get a dribble straight down the center field. We've seen Rxii really mix it up a lot so far, trying to handle the half flip kickoff from Atow. This is one he hasn't done yet. The early jump, recognizing no reason to pull it too soon. Back down to the ground and gets by on the second pop. I think right now the favorite to win the qualifier has to be the number 1 seed. I feel like that makes sense, which would be Joreuz. Rxii wins again as he flicks early as Atow comes to dive. Rxii just has it figured out. And then as far as winning the main events for the EU side, I think you have to take Zen, who has looked unbeatable against everyone who's not named Rawas, and nobody in this tournament is named Rawas, so you have to think Zen the favorite to finish first in the pool play. Rxii, a carry and a flick. I know it wasn't a kickoff, but it looks exactly like the setups we saw in the past few times. Atow back into the corner, trying to challenge Rxii at the midfield, and him getting a strong enough flick to make it not happen. Atow, camera work. Try and see if he can avoid this demo, but it doesn't happen. Rxii makes it 5 straight unanswered in the first minute of game number 4. For the main event, North America and EU will be separate. Courtesy of Vacanus, though, who has now donated $500 in an attempt to see if we can get the winners of the 2 brackets to play each other. Whether that happens on LAN, which would be ideal, or maybe we just do a classic cross-server battle that's been happening a lot recently. So yes, make sure to give him love in the chat for sure. Atow up high. Rxii jumps early and actually is in the perfect spot. Atow just flicks it directly into him. He was fairly low on his pre-jump and still in the perfect spot. It's a great flick there. Yeah, Atow's not going to be able to stop it, man. Rxii's in the zone. We saw Atow forfeit with 3 seconds left on the clock. I don't know if he's going to be interested forfeiting early if Rxii continues this. I mean, right now, it would certainly be a mistake. 3 minutes left on the clock. Atow is more than capable of getting 5 goals. But you never know. Atow looking for multiple resets. Double reset into the flick, and Rxii just waits patiently, gets a bump, and might have a long shot now. The first touch doesn't have enough power, but the follow-up guarantees it. 7-1 for Rxii, and there it is, the next, with 3 minutes left to go. I had a feeling we were about to hear that from Rxii, or from Atow. He wants it to end in a Brazil. We got ourselves a game 5. Game 5, Atow and Rxii. Atow right now is trying to show you why players do forfeit early. And I've seen this from a lot of players in the past. A few different North American players have gotten flack for forfeiting early. I think almost the culture around forfeiting early has actually improved. People have accepted it a lot more recently in 1v1s. But it does go well sometimes to the people who forfeit. I think the ability to not let the mental fall even farther and instead just reset and get into a new game can be something that allows them to not tilt out of a series. And we'll see if that's the case here for Atow, who will be scoring first after spending 2.5 or 3 straight minutes not being able to find a goal. Here he's found one. Atow back to his back wall. Camera check to see if Rxii was coming because he knew he was going to get a pretty strong touch off the back wall. And if Rxii is chasing him down, then he needs to kind of panic and make sure no shot comes. But what a save. Oh, never mind. Not a save. But if Rxii is backed off, which Atow noticed he was, then he's got time to set up whatever he wants. The problem is whatever he wants got saved and got counterattacked. Atow wave dashing on the wall to take a dribble midfield, and Rxii absolutely stops that. What is this Feer toxic? I'm confused. Is this a joke about the fact that me and Toxic are both named Ben? Certainly it can't be that. That's too deep of a cut. You would have saved? Wait, I would have saved? No shot. Oh, yeah, I would have saved him with words. Yeah. Yeah, okay, no. I thought you said I quick chatted it. Got it. You're saying I would have saved him and that I thought it was a save, but then it turns out it wasn't. Yeah, okay. Got it. All right, I'm caught back up. All right, I feel like the context of my what a save was obviously not toxic. So I don't stand for this. Atow trying to reset the momentum off of a forfeit, and although he has slightly done so, Rxii off to a 5-1 lead. This is a solid air dribble from Atow as the reset, and the way he's been playing, you have to be worried about what he can do if you're Rxii, and he jumps over the top. Rxii, another kickoff goal. 6-2. Jorius is here in the chat watching. I don't know who he's hoping for as an opponent, but the way Rxii's been playing, not sure you want to hope for Rxii. Atow, half flip kickoff. You know who also does a lot of half flip kickoffs? Rxii's potential future opponent. Atow. Front flip on the kickoff, saved. Rxii has been a great brick wall on the goal line. He has made countless saves. Inches away, Atow is out. The forfeit did not work. Instead, the momentum carried right on over into another game. 2 minutes into that one, and Atow wants out. 8-2 for Rxii in this one. Coming off of a 7-1 in the previous game. 15-3 run that Rxii just went on against Atow. Atow is absolutely a high caliber ones player. Not the kind of guy that's easy to roll through, but Rxii is showing off. Oh, a pogo, yes, of course. Let's see it. Rxii knows what is tradition here when somebody forfeits early, which is for you to give us your best pogo. Oh, keep it up. Count it. Count it. You absolutely count it. He did not land back down. That is a pogo if I've ever seen one. GG's. I'm going to go ahead and end the game here because I want the scoreboard to reflect the win.